Narcissism is one of the most misunderstood psychological traits in the world. Today, the word narcissist gets used for almost everyone who seems selfish, confident, or attention-seeking. But true narcissism is much deeper and more complex than simple arrogance. The term narcissism comes from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a man who became so obsessed with his own reflection that he eventually destroyed himself. And in many ways, modern narcissism still revolves around obsession with image, validation, and identity. At its core, narcissism is an excessive focus on oneself, one's needs, image, status, or importance, often at the expense of others. But here's the interesting part. Most narcissists don't actually have high self-esteem deep inside. Underneath the confidence, superiority, or charm, there is often deep insecurity and emotional fragility. That's why narcissists constantly seek validation. They need admiration, attention, praise, control, or power to maintain the image they've created of themselves. Psychologists often describe narcissism as existing on a spectrum. On one side, healthy narcissism exists in all humans. A certain level of self-confidence, ambition, and self-focus is normal and even necessary for survival. But unhealthy narcissism becomes destructive. This is where a person develops an inflated sense of importance, lacks empathy, becomes highly sensitive to criticism, and constantly needs validation from others. One of the defining traits of narcissism is the need to protect the ego at all costs. Even small criticism can feel deeply threatening to a narcissist. That's why they may react with anger, defensiveness, blame, manipulation, or even emotional punishment. Another major trait is lack of empathy. This doesn't always mean narcissists feel nothing. Sometimes they can understand emotions intellectually, but they often struggle to genuinely connect with the emotional reality of others, especially when it conflicts with their own needs. Relationships with narcissistic people can become emotionally exhausting. At first, they may appear charismatic, confident, or deeply attentive. Many narcissists are skilled at creating strong first impressions, but over time, relationships may begin revolving entirely around their needs, emotions, and validation. Conversations become one-sided, your feelings become minimized, and criticism toward them becomes almost impossible. Narcissism can also appear in different forms. Grandiose narcissists are the more obvious type. Dominant, attention-seeking, arrogant, and openly self-important. Covert narcissists are quieter and harder to recognize. They may appear shy or sensitive, but still carry deep entitlement, victim mentality, and emotional manipulation underneath. The causes of narcissism are complex. Psychologists believe it can develop through a combination of genetics, childhood experiences, trauma, excessive praise, emotional neglect, or unstable parenting. Some narcissists grow up constantly criticized and develop a false superior identity to protect themselves from shame. Others may have been overly idealized and never learned emotional accountability. In severe cases, narcissism can develop into narcissistic personality disorder, also known as NPD. This is a clinical mental health condition characterized by persistent patterns of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy that significantly affect relationships and daily functioning. However, not every selfish or toxic person has NPD. And this is important because social media often overuses psychological labels without understanding them properly. Understanding narcissism is not about demonizing people, it's about understanding human behavior, emotional wounds, and the impact certain personality traits can have on relationships and society. Because behind many narcissistic behaviors lies something deeper. Fear of inadequacy, fear of rejection, and fear of not being enough. But while understanding narcissism creates compassion, it should never come at the cost of your own emotional well-being. Healthy relationships require empathy, accountability, emotional safety, and mutual respect. And without those things, even the strongest connection can slowly become emotionally damaging. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.